Hey, everybody, guess what? We have Graham Sharp here with us from Steep Canyon Rangers. Got your coffee already this morning?
I got my coffee. It's maybe the fourth cup. Could be the fifth. Yeah.
Hey, we were just talking about this before we went live here. The band was recently at the Grand Ole Opry this weekend, but not your normal Grand Ole Opry experience.
No, we came in, yeah, we got in actually the night before we came from North Carolina, and then we came in the morning, and some folks came by the bus and visited, and they said, yeah, there's some bad weather coming, and sure enough, those hurricanes, I mean, the tornadoes that kicked in the afternoon, and we were on the bus, and everybody came in the Opry, and then they took everybody who was backstage in the Opry and brought everybody in the auditorium to kind of shelter in place. So all the bands and the house band and all the tours, we were all in there in the auditorium for about an hour. And, it was scary. The lights flickered a couple times, but fortunately, we dodged the worst of it right there. But yeah, that was a unique day at the Opry.
Yeah, for sure. Tell me about how many times have you guys played the Opry? It's been a few years since you've been.
But before, last weekend, it had probably been 4 or 5 years, I think, since we've been there. But that was probably our eighth trip to the Opry, something like that. And we've also done, a couple shows at the Opry House. We did one recently with Steve Martin and Martin Short, part of their show at the Opry House. So we've been in there a couple times that were, non-Grand Ole Opry shows as well.
Yeah, so it's interesting you mentioned Steve Martin. You're a banjo player for the band, and so is Steve Martin. And you're going to be doing a show with them again, Steve Martin, this weekend in Vegas.
That's right. Yeah, we got two shows this weekend with Steve, and then those will be our last shows for the year. So then we'll kind of take about a month or so for the holidays, and we have some different projects and some recording and stuff we're going to be doing over that time. But we'll be home for about a month or so after that. So that'll be wonderful.
Tell me about how that came about that you guys started touring with Steve Martin. Does he play the banjo during on this tour?
He does. He plays it some. This is more of a comedy show now with Martin Short than it has been. When we started back in maybe 2008, 2009 with Steve, it was purely a music show, and it was all songs. And even initially, he didn't want to do any comedy in the show. He was like, I want people to take this seriously for what it is as a music show. I'm not going to do any comedy or anything. And then pretty quickly he realized, well, hey, people actually like it when I tell little jokes. And he had great things to say about the songs. I mean, what great material to like talk about, like any singer songwriter would do, right? About the songs you're getting ready to play and how you wrote them and where they came from. And yet you're Steve Martin, the greatest stand-up comic of all time, telling these.
Right.
So that, the evolution of playing with him has really been amazing because, yeah, you asked when we first met up, and it was just really informally. He came and sat in with us a couple times, and he had never really played with a band before. He had, as he recorded, he had sort of tracked his parts, and people would come and build the songs because he's released music albums before that, but he had never really played with a band. So, kind of our first experiences with him, we had learned his records backwards and forwards, knowing that we were going to be playing with them, and so we had it down when we got together, and it was a great fit right from the start, and that's been probably 15 years, I would say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So how do you rate his banjo playing as a pretty impressive banjo player yourself? What do you
Steve
say?
Steve is a really marvelous banjo player. I mean, he a really, really great banjo player. I mean, a unique banjo player in that if you were to just go to like a bluegrass jam and say, kick off Blue Ridge Cabin Home, I mean, he might look at you like you were from Mars. Um, but but he has this great body of tunes that he's written that are all unique and really intricate and really beautiful songs, and he plays them really well. So he rates really highly as a banjo player, I think. And he's also unique that he plays both like the clawhammer old time style and sort of the Earl Scruggs three finger style. So he really has a wide range too.
That's impressive. Okay, that means a lot coming from you. Let's
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about you guys. You said you're going to take a break, but then you're coming back to this area. You're coming to Columbia State in February when you guys start touring again. Tell us about that show coming up.
Yeah, well, so we've kind of gradually been expanding our catalog. We've had a new guitar player, lead singer for about a year and a half or so. And he's dynamite. His name's Aaron Burdett, and he's just fantastic. So it's sort of, lit a new fire for us to sort of grow our catalog and maybe reach back in our old catalog and pull out some old stuff. Plus, we have a new record that went at #1 on the Billboard Bluegrass charts last year, and we'll be playing a bunch of stuff from that. So, I feel like the show these days is probably better than it's ever been, just because it's really dynamic. We now have like 3 lead singers who sort of trade the vocals around. We're having a great time out there on the road, trying to work in some new covers, some different songs, maybe some surprises for folks. So yeah, we really enjoying what we do now, and I think it comes through when we play.
Yeah. You guys have been together for, has it 20 years now?
I think it's 20 plus.
20 plus.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I mean, and in your style of you're a bluegrass band, but you have your own unique style. How would you describe that to people?
I mean, I think we're a mixture of different styles. I mean, bluegrass is our DNA, and it's the backbone of most everything we do. But we have a lot of different talents and interests in the band, and we sort of like to give all those a place when it's appropriate. We don't try to shoehorn anything into a bluegrass style that maybe would work better in one way, and vice versa. So we just like to, we write most of our songs, and we just like to treat each song, for what it is, and like I say, not try to shoehorn it into any genre. So it makes for a pretty diverse set of music, I think.
Yes. Yes, and the new album is great. I think people should go listen to it if you want to get ready for the show.
Yes.
It's February 15th at Columbia State. Hey, before we go, you guys have the nickname. You called the Steeps. I didn't know
Yes.
that. How did that come about?
I think, well, the name itself, Steep Canyon Rangers, is a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah.
And we named the band, when we were going to play our first show, and we probably didn't think, I don't think at the time, there'd ever be a second show. We just needed a name for this band, and it was very informal. And one thing became the next, and here we are, all these years later, with the Steep Canyon Rangers. So yeah, I think. Some people call us the Rangers, some people call us the Steeps, some people call us SCR. But yeah, they all work for me.
Steep Canyon Rangers. That's a lot to put on a t-shirt, isn't it? Like
It
you run
is.
out, you run out of room.
You got to pay extra for all those letters.
Hey, it's been great to catch up with you guys. We'll put the information for the show coming up at Columbia State, like I said, on February 15th. So if you're looking ahead, because after the holidays, you'll be looking for something to do. This is a great show.
And it makes a great Christmas present to buy tickets for your loved
Even
ones.
better. See, you're one step ahead of me. All
We're
right.
looking forward to it.
Thanks again. We'll see you soon.
All right. Appreciate it.